Okay, so Robin Thicke and Paula Patton. She's not gonna take him back.
He still want her. He still want her.
He's lost without her.
He still want her, and he still want her, and he still want her.
She said no.
He still want her, and he still want her.
That's it. When a woman's fed up, that's it.
Yeah, I think she's been in the house for over a year. He still want her.
That ain't gonna last on the market for a minute, you know.
Cooking now?
She fine, huh?
Is she cooking?
No.
I don't think she's cooking, but she's fine.
She's Paula Patton.
She's fine. She ain't gonna, she'll last what, 3 minutes? Somebody snatch that up, take it home.
And he had her since high school.
He had her since high school.
Ugh.
So she's already
He's done.
deep in her mind. She's already got like a sense of maybe it's, maybe out there isn't so bad.
Yep.
She ain't had nothing else.
She's a good girl.
She gonna be wide open.
Yeah. She's good.
She's a good girl?
Yeah.
Good girl gone bad?
Yeah. Poor
Like
Robin
Rihanna?
Thicke. Yeah, poor Robin Thicke.
If she ain't cooking, I don't think she got to stand a chance.
So Chris Brown and Drake, they squashed their beef and now they're working together.
Exactly. I think that they came to the conclusion that Rihanna makes good music and they make good music. So that's
gonna be a slamming album.
All slamming.
That's gonna be it. Chris Brown has been hot and Drake has been hot.
He's been hot in prison though. That's like when you've been hot in prison, that's like it's like a bittersweet moment. I'm
really.
happy for you, but I'm like
shit's playing on the air.
Exactly.
Like,
I'm like, I love you, but I hate you.
But right after he got out of jail, they threw him a nice big party, and then he did the BET Awards.
Yeah.
Now the performance was good.
Was it him or was it Sinbad? Because
it was
he
him.
Looked just like Sinbad.
He did.
He had gained a little weight. Yeah. Okay.
Those jail noodles.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so he was eating a lot of ramen noodles.
But he was still dancing.
Okay,
still good. Yeah.
It was him.
Yeah.
But Chris Brown, he was definitely looking a little chubby there. But all right.
But he's really talented. I mean,
He's
has his
very
own
talented.
label. He has his own label now. Seven Streeters coming out.
He's from Virginia.
Yeah. He's making some moves.
Yeah, and I think that he got the proper people in line to support him.
Yeah.
And doing what he really he is talented to do.
I keep playing that Loyal song.
But
it's like my ringtone now.
He ain't loyal. These girls ain't loyal, right?
But he said Karrueche Tran, his girlfriend, he said that's a permanent fixture in his life now.
All right.
Guess because she stood by him, went through all the drama.
I can see.
Went through the jail.
I can see. She's a good,
Yeah, she seemed like a nice girl.
Yeah, she's definitely
she's a keeper.
A fixture.
Yeah,
in the house.
She's quiet. I mean,
and that's what they need.
When he was with Rihanna, I mean, Rihanna is like
Rihanna is from the island.
She's got that fire.
That
blood fire.
Yes. She will keep it going after it ain't going.
Karrueche kind of blends in.
Yeah, Karrueche is more so.
Versus Rihanna kind of like overshadows him.
What you think about Rihanna?
Who is she?
Well, we don't know. So if you don't know, then that's not a good thing.
That's Michael Jackson's girlfriend, right?
No. I asked my aunt who Rihanna was. She was like, "You mean that confused trick that can't sing?"
So she know. Your
I
aunt
like Rihanna.
Yes, and you should have said absolutely, Auntie.
She got the TV show Rihanna Saved My Life.
No, she don't got Rihanna's. He think Ayana saved my life. No,
I like Rihanna though. She's
love
talented.
Rihanna. She's not crazy.
She's like a baby Beyonce almost.
She is Beyonce.
Yeah.
She is Beyonce.
Beyonce bad though. That's like a whole nother level.
She is Beyonce reincarnated.
Yeah, man.
Right? Everyone will leave you for Beyonce.
Yeah. I saw the what's that video? Ego.
Woo!
And she was dancing and she's like flipping her hair. She just looked like she liked being there. She
was done.
She's a performer, man.
I heard her and Jay-Z are like calling it quits though,
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the latest news, yeah.
Really?
They're trying to get the most expensive love counseling to see if
They
they
ain't
can.
calling it quits.
No.
After the fight in the elevator.
Oh, maybe, yeah. I bet you it works out.
You think so? Based on money,
Well, they have
right?
problems.
She loved that ninja though. She
loves
bought him a private plane for his birthday.
She
How
loves
can
him.
you top? You can't even top that type of gift. First of
Nah,
all,
I can't.
she dropped money on a plane.
When you're both making $1 billion a year.
Yeah,
That plane ain't shit.
Yeah.
that's true.
I got you a plane. You got me what? Yeah. So it is true.
Well, he got her a yacht. That's crazy.
That's
That's
true.
crazy gifts. Yacht,
Yeah.
plane. I want to be on that level. That's why we got to get this thing kicking off.
Buy him a planet,
Exactly.
his own planet. Next to Pluto.
Yeah.
He'll be impressed.
God, say it.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
So where's all the money at in the industry now? Are the rappers making all the money?
No.
Nicki Minaj,
The
she's
hoes.
making money.
The hoes turn into different area codes.
Oh,
So-
God.
So Nicki Minaj is a hoe turned into a different area code.
She's got the new album cover with the booty out.
Yeah. She said, in one of her songs, she said, I don't love him, but I respect him.
Oh, God.
I'm like, she said, but I still love you. No, Nicki. And she says that in her song, she said it's poison.
Mm-hmm.
She's
Pills and potions.
pills and potions.
Oh, God. That's horrible.
Pills and potions, no
What?
oceans,
Mm.
but I still love him, and
You know
I
what,
still
though?
love him. And
I love
still,
her last album, though. I
love-
keep
I
playing
love
it
her,
and
'cause
playing
I keep
it.
playing it, and I keep playing. I was like, she's like pills and potions.
When I'm
Don't love no oceans.
in the
But I
office
still love him.
and I'm down, I throw in that Nicki
Nicki
Minaj,
Minaj, and
or
you
I
go
throw
crazy.
in Chris Brown
Right? And
or
you just,
Drake.
You,
I love
and
Drake.
you want to put
Who's
one
the guy-
nose.
Who's the guy with the Kiss It song? What's his name? You Kiss It.
That's the Chris Brown.
Chris
Kiss
Brown.
No, that ain't Chris
That
Brown.
is Chris. Kiss it. And,
No. You
Chris-
Kiss It good. You Kiss It the best.
oh, he likes Usher.
That's Usher. Oh, I like Usher too.
I like Usher too. I like yeah.
Usher's got it
guy.
going on.
Usher's,
like Usher.
Usher's coming back.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
let's give it up for Usher. He's coming
What's
into
the
the
name of that
mix.
song?
Kiss
Kiss
it.
You.
Yeah, kiss you.
Kissing.
Kiss You?
Mm-hmm.
Kiss you real good.
Yeah, Kiss It real good.
One of
That's
his,
the one.
I like one of Usher's artists though, even though he's kind of like a pimp with a microphone. Rico Love.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's a pimp though.
Yeah.
He's like, they don't
They
know.
don't know. They don't know.
He was like,
No.
He's the one that's talking about snorting coke in the morning.
yeah, I share you with my wifey.
That's
Then he
him?
break, yeah. Then he's
Oh,
like,
they don't know.
then he's like, they don't know about you, but wifey know about you though.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I got a tattoo on that.
That's heavy.
Yeah, they don't know.
I bought that Beamer sitting in your
They
garage.
They don't know.
Your mama think you don't even like guys.
Woo!
That's heavy.
That's like,
Some heavy words there.
Rico Love is a
Okay.
pimp. He's like, your mama think you don't even like guys.
Okay. They don't know.
You don't
They
like you don't
they
like
don't know.
Instagram and pictures. That's why I'm messing with you.
See?
That's like, yeah.
Okay, that's him.
Rico Love is crazy, man.
That's Usher's best friend.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, and he's on his label. So
All right.
Wow.
Usher's proud of his artists.
Usher is.
If you ever talk to him, he'll
he
say,
will talk about all of them.
yeah, he love his artists. He's
From
like,
the beginning to the end.
he's like, that's,
He's a mentor.
yeah, he's like, that's
Justin
my,
Bieber. Justin Bieber.
yep, Justin Bieber's on Usher's label. Yeah,
Usher, once he signed him, he's done.
yeah. But he's like, if you ever talk to Usher in conversation, he's like, oh yeah, man, that's my artist. Like, he's like into his artist.
Yeah. He is
Like,
the next Mary Queen.
Yeah.
Hashtag.
He's gonna have an empire. Watch.
Yeah.
I could imagine people just signing with him. People signing with him just because of the way he treat his artists. So,
Yeah. Hashtag, you know how to kiss it right.
yep.
Yeah.
Usher's bad though. I like
He
all
is.
of his albums.
I love all of them.
I still play all of them. Like I'll go and play
Long as it's
Confessions,
right.
and then
Yeah,
the next
Confessions.
one, you know,
Confessions.
yeah, that was
That's like,
that went diamond. That was his baby. That was his hitter.
Confessions was done. You were done. After you heard that, what happened?
What do you think about this Tiny and T.I. and
What?
Mayweather situation?
Mayweather is the most incredible player there is in the United States of America.
Yeah, but
he played.
He flirting with death right now, messing with
he
T.I.'s
is,
lady.
because T.I. is gonna be T.I.
You seen his rap sheet?
T.I. is a Crip, Blood, and everything else.
I don't know if he's a gangbanger.
I don't think T.I. would challenge him to a boxing match.
No, but he'll pull out them texts.
T.I. took him out and punched him in the face.
He sure did punch him in the face.
He said, T.I. went and said, okay, he knows he's the heavyweight champion. He went to Las Vegas and said, this nigga, whatever, and he punched him in the face.
But the thing about T.I., T.I. got...
T.I., his little bitty self.
Yep.
Saw his wife with another boxer, whatever, went up to him and said, leave my wife alone. No.
But the thing is, T.I. went to jail almost.
Yeah, he
for acquiring firepower. So that type of person, I wouldn't want to piss him off and mess with his wife.
Man should be messing with his wife.
Yeah.
That's wrong.
Even 50 Cent...
Not in public, anyway.
Even 50 Cent chimed in and said, look, man, you might want to slow your roll on that one.
50 Cent came in and said, listen, Mayweather. He said, how much did you pay for this bra? Didn't he say that? He said, how much? He said, you ain't pay that much for this bra. This bra belongs to another man.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know.
Oh.
Yeah, well, she is. She's older than all of them.
Mayweather's ex-fiance, Miss Jackson, the model, they got pictures of her hugged up.
With Tiny.
No, not with Tiny. With Nelly, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. And
so he may have a fetish with being with other men's powerful
Nelly?
men. No, Mayweather. Mayweather, he may have a fetish with being with other powerful men in the same industry.
But
women.
Here's the thing.
Why would you date Miss Piggy?
But
really?
Yeah, true.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Tiny, really, she was an escape.
But Mayweather...
All I need from you is under... She
but
was
his
not
current girlfriend is fine.
His
Mayweather,
current,
yeah, he has a new girlfriend.
She's fine.
I don't think he's serious about her. I thought he was serious about Miss Jackson. But Miss Jackson is hugged up with Nelly. And then...
Nelly?
Yeah. The rapper.
Yeah.
50 put a picture out there on Instagram of Nelly and Miss Jackson hugged up like, Mayweather, you better get your chick. Yeah. Wow. He's such an instigator, man. 50 is so catty, man. 50 is catty, man. Come on, man.
He's like, Mayweather, come on. You let a little nigga like this go and punch at you.
He actually hit him in the face?
Yeah, he hit him. Yeah.
What did Mayweather do?
Nothing. Because Mayweather punched him.
It probably didn't even hurt him.
But
to be honest,
if Mayweather really punch a punch, that's more like a felony for him.
Yeah.
More value. Yeah.
I can see that. Yeah.
However, who knows? Who knows really what's going on?
I can see that. Have you checked out Love and Hip Hop lately?
What? Every night? What isn't going on with Love and Hip Hop?
Jocelyn and Stevie J beefing.
Jocelyn, first of all. Let's talk about Stevie J.
Can we get Jocelyn hooked on phonics first?
Jocelyn, she doesn't even make sense. She can't talk. She sounds like the Puerto Rican princess from something that was never a princess before. She's just like...
She's hot, though.
You think
she seemed like she's fun to be with.
Manly hot.
She seemed like she's fun to be with.
So if she didn't have her boobs, she didn't have her butt, and she didn't have the Puerto Rican...
But she's a little older now, too. You got to take that into the equation.
That's just like saying that Captain Crunch is older.
She's more...
It doesn't make the flavor different.
I think Stevie J is with her because she's fun. Mimi Foss is kind of...
Stevie J is with her because he's always dated strippers.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Eve was a stripper. His wife before was a stripper. Everyone was a stripper.
Okay,
so this one is the last stripper that he
right.
will probably be able to date.
You know these people.
Right? Atlanta, they're all strippers.
Oh, God.
He knows Scrappy.
Oh.
And Scrappy is...
I got a question.
Scrappy and Mama D at the birthday party. She's like, Scrappy, you need to learn how to control your chicks.
And all she wants her scooter, right? I'm like, really?
You gave that girl a ring, right?
Scrappy was like this, looking at Mama D like, girl.
He did.
No, you didn't just embarrass
He
me.
said, you will not throw me out the kingdom.
Yeah, I'm just saying, where that picnic they had, you gave her the ring.
Yeah.
Best sides of the beach.
Maybe.
There's Thousand Beach.
I never saw it. I never saw it in Atlanta.
Said, you are a nut, man. You are a nut. Alright, folks, it's me, Juan. Shell's taking a break. So, I'm gonna man the fort while she's out. Let's talk about what's going on lately. I mean, we have a nation with no borders. Look at what's going on at the border there. We have a crisis, an orchestrated crisis, a pre-planned crisis that has been orchestrated by this administration, along with Mexico, Honduras, Guatemala, and those Latin American countries. Basically, there's a story that's out there. These countries have, for these immigrants that are being flown and bussed into our nation, they actually are giving them a regional pass to pass through Mexico and to come into our land via Texas, Arizona, California, however which way they can get here. You know, there were a series of protests in Marietta, California, where, you know, the citizens are just, there's so much going in this country, especially in the down economy. You know, you have 92 million people, able-bodied people that are out of work. And Democrats and Republicans in Washington are focusing on illegal immigrants, not just the ones that, are, bringing in the country via bus, via plane. I mean, it would take them quite a bit of time to assimilate into the culture, to vote, so forth. If they assimilate at all, most of them don't speak English. And, so that's really not what's at stake. I mean, this crisis, and this is just my theory, but I believe that this crisis is being orchestrated to rush through an immigration bill so that current immigrants that have been here for years can just get a blanket amnesty, legal access to, our social services. They're already, to some degree, getting social services and some entitlement programs. But also they have access to our schools in certain states. California passed the DREAM Act. In New Jersey, Governor Chris Christie and the Assembly here passed something similar where, they can go to school here, illegals, and they can get in-state tuition and, some tuition assistance in colleges. So this is just really draining the resources that are within our nation. I mean, the taxpayer is getting hit hard. That's who's suffering right now. That's who. Everybody has representation in Washington, unions and special interest groups and, certain nonprofit organizations like the Urban League, and everybody has representation in Washington, seems to me anyway, except for taxpayers and veterans. Now, you have homeless veterans throughout this country, but they're setting up base housing and base locations as refugee camps for some of these illegals that are being bused and flown into the country. That's just a travesty. I believe there shouldn't be a homeless vet in the streets. And look, that's easier said than done. All of this costs something. I mean, if you look at the VA, the past few weeks, there was a scandal there with veterans not getting the right access to health care, being put on a series of secret lists. when you look at that and the fact that, that system is broken because of Obamacare, our healthcare system is broken. I mean, you're looking at a series of laws that have been, bypassed by this administration. Certain laws haven't been enforced by this administration, and by executive fiat, over 19 or 20 times, the president himself have given exemptions, given out carve-outs to his buddies and his cronies, causing instability and uncertainty in the insurance industry. Some of their ratings, as a result of the arbitrary changes by fiat and Obamacare, some of the insurers, their credit ratings and their business ratings were at risk because of so many arbitrary changes to Obamacare. And there's no surety, there's no certainty in the industry. This is definitely slowing down our economy. This is definitely slowing down job creation in this country. You're looking at, like I said, you got 92 able-bodied people out of work. You got 47 million people on food stamps. And, all the arbitrary laws aren't helping. All of the rule making that's taking place in this federal bureaucracy in so many different branches. When you look at the EPA, all of these arbitrary rules that they're just writing in there. They basically just have a blank sheet of paper and you're just writing rules without any congressional authority, without any congressional approval, without any congressional oversight. And so this is killing jobs. This is causing our energy prices to go through the roof. You're talking about electricity. 40% of our electricity comes from coal. Since Obama stepped in office, maybe a year or so after, the EPA has been revving up and going after coal plants. They shut down already over 200 coal operations. If 40% of that is coming from coal, where's the electricity coming from? It's not going to come from solar panels, even though their technology is getting better. But, as far as grid plug-ins, different, it's going to cost more if you shut down coal operations to create the electricity. It's going to take longer. And it's just going to cost more for the consumer on the back end to pay for that type of, to pay for those services. So when you look at this government, and it's gotten big. This government is growing. Seems like it's growing by the day. So with this type of interaction from the government, intervening and putting their hands in the private economy, the economy can't grow. You have this divide and conquer politics in terms of, they're talking about wealth redistribution every day. They're talking about, central planning the government. They're talking about tax increases that, companies that, take their dime and take their time to plan and move their companies overseas in order to, basically stay in business in some cases, but, to have enough breathing room so that they can operate. They're talking about in Washington, well, that's not economic patriotism. Well, crushing and crippling bureaucratic rules and regulations, that's not economic patriotism. Constantly going on the mic talking about tax increases, that's not economic patriotism. That's economic insanity. You're basically chasing away jobs. You're basically chasing away opportunities that could be here. If you're the president of the United States, wouldn't you want job creation taking place here? But of course, we can't judge Obama by that standard. He doesn't care. All he cares about is his agenda. That's been clear. If he'd have ran on the stuff that he's doing now, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't get elected. He wouldn't have gotten elected. I'm pretty sure if he would have said, hey, we're going to stop enforcing the immigration laws and we're going to bring in thousands and thousands and thousands of illegal immigrants, even though you're out of work, there's 92 million of you out of work, there's 47 million of you on food stamps, but we're going to bring in more immigrants, we're going to bring in more people to compete with you at the workplace. I mean, that's insane. Nobody wants that. Nobody in their right mind wants that anyway. When you look at this economy and what we've been able to do and what we've been able to produce, I mean, the revenues are out of control. We are making close to $3 trillion a year in revenues. The government, the federal government, taking in $3 trillion a year in revenue. I mean, that's pretty doggone good. So you would think that Washington wants more of that, but Washington, they're just in this bubble. They're not really concerned about what you would consider flyover. I mean, you know, there's a rotation from New York to DC. There's a revolving New York to DC doors, and most of these media pundits and most of these politicians, you know, except for a few, they really don't understand the pain that's out there. You know, when gas goes up to nearly $4, the average person is feeling it. That single mother is feeling it. That family, that mother and that father with 2 or 3 kids trying to put, you know, food on the table and keep gas in the car, they are feeling it. People have been crushed out here. And, you know, Washington, they're playing, Republicans and Democrats, they're playing this game up there. You know, you notice every time there's a little unrest, every time, you know, when people start paying attention and they start going to, you know, congressional meetings, and, you know, when congressmen and senators do town halls, when people start paying attention and start getting their voices out there, the Republicans and the Democrats, they have a pattern of sticking together so they can keep the crap game going. And that's what I'm tired of. I want to see some changes. I'm fortunate, I grew up in 2 great decades. The 80s, you know, which, you know, conservatism was the rule of the day because of Ronald Reagan. And then I grew up, you know, the second half of my childhood, my teenage years in the 90s. And, you know, in the 90s and in the 80s, both, it was very economically prosperous. There was a lot of certainty. You know, there were just certain things that you depended on. You know, when Reagan was in the White House, he was, you know, a picture of stability. He was warm. He was kind. You know, he was patriotic. Even Bill Clinton in the 90s, and, you know, I didn't really care for Clinton, but he was, you know, cool, calm, collected. You know, a very good politician in terms of delivery, and, you know, he was a great communicator, and, you know, there was a stability in that, and you just don't see that anymore. Right now we have a president that divides us. Rich against poor, young against old. You know, the Democratic Party, period, and I'm not even trying to be partisan, but, you know, that's why they have all of these special causes, you know, the gay rights, you know, which is understandable, which, you know, minority rights and women's rights and all of these issues, these divisive issues, actually, that come up and divide the electorate. I'm tired of division. I want to see, you know, this nation prosper, to be as great as it can be. And, you know, while we're being ruled by, you know, the minority party, make no mistake we are being governed against our will by the minority party. Liberals typically only make up 20% of the voters and 20% of the population. You know, when you look at this big push for gay rights, you know, gay people, in terms of the total population, they're about 2 to 3% of the population, but because of special interests, you know, because there's money behind it, they're able to move their agenda, you know, throughout the country and through the political process. If the political process doesn't work, if they can't get it via the state or the federal government, they go through the courts. And this is how it happens. I mean, the institution being attacked, by different special interests, not just special interest groups, like minority groups, but, the unions. The unions go to court. When there's a big settlement in a corporation and it's time for, a update on a collective bargaining agreement, the unions, if they can't settle it, if they can't get an arbitrator to do it, if they can't sit down and negotiate with the management or the executives at a corporation, then 9 times out of the 10, it ends up in court or some other type of side process before the dispute is resolved. So, again, we're talking about the economy. We're talking about these borders. I mean, this is going to affect us. You're talking about amnesty, blanket amnesty. This is going to affect our economy for years to come if this thing is allowed to just be pushed through, just kind of like how they did Obamacare. They kind of orchestrated the crisis. You had the media behind it. I mean, stories every day, 10 different healthcare stories every day for 2 years, mounting the pressure on the Republicans. And the Republicans, they don't know any better. They're sitting in the Beltway. They read Politico. They read The Standard. They read Slate. They're getting all scared, shaking in their boots. They're in their bubble. In the meantime, while Washington's over there playing footsie, while the Republicans and the Democrats are kissing and trying to pass immigration reform, the taxpayers suffering. Our economy's still in the tank. We're negative 3 GDP as of last quarter. And we're still struggling. They're trying to import. Well, it's not even about the illegals that are coming in. That's just a distraction. The real elephant in the room. What about the illegals that are here, that are working, that have somewhat assimilated into our society, whether they speak English or not? They're doing some type of labor. They're waiting. And they haven't engaged in the legal process to becoming citizens. Not all of them. Maybe some of them have. But they're waiting, basically, for an amnesty. People are coming from Central America through Mexico, dying for the promise of a possible amnesty. They're doing these people a disservice. They're doing our country, Washington, a disservice. And Obama goes down to Honduras and basically wants to do a refugee camp so they can fly illegals in directly. And it's nothing but a response to Rick Perry securing the border. I don't blame him. I wish other states do the same. Send your National Guards to the border. We got to protect our sovereignty. We got to protect the citizenry here from, border agents are catching diseases. Scabies, and other diseases that are viral. Border agents are getting sick, not even going home to their families because they don't want to spread the diseases. And you got illegals coming across the border. The government secretly putting them on buses, send them across America to somewhere that they could stay as refugees in this country and await the promise of amnesty. That's pretty insane. That's pretty lawless. But the elephant in the room is the illegals that are here. You're talking anywhere from, some estimates from 15 to 30 million illegals that could possibly benefit from the amnesty. But what about the people that are doing it legally, that went out, got a lawyer, filled the right paperwork, that are already in the process? What about the immigrants, the legal immigrants that immigrated to this country, going through the legal process, and that are already here, whether they've been granted green card or full-fledged citizenship? You're doing them a disservice. You're basically going to reward people that didn't come here the right way. That is a travesty. So it's all politics, folks. trying to turn this into some humanitarian crisis, which it is. I mean, you have organizations going to the border, feeding people, giving them medicine, which is great, but we got to get around to sending them home. So this thing, if amnesty is allowed, you know, going back to 86 when they passed the amnesty then, that's when the Republicans lost California. Haven't won California ever since, because most of the people coming out of these countries, they're controlled governments or some type of socialist government, and they're used to getting, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of hard working people coming here, but if their relationship to government is unhealthy, then they're going to vote for more of that type of government. If they're used to getting a handout from their government domestically back home, or waiting for a handout, which is few and far between, even for the countries that we give aid to, they're going to want a similar relationship in a country where there's more wealth, where there's more prosperity. So I just think it's a travesty. You know, the Republicans in Congress, they could be doing something about this. But as usual, they're doing absolutely nothing. Boehner, he's out of ideas, of course. I don't know if he had any good ideas. I mean, the highlight for Boehner was the shutdown, and you know, really it was Ted Cruz that was orchestrating that whole thing, and you know, behind the strategy, which I thought was brilliant. You know, every time the Democrats brought something up, a special program, they would pass a bill, boom, hits Harry Reid's desk. Look, you said you wanted it, fund it, boom. And they never did that, of course. But still, you know, you got to make these guys negotiate. Come to the table with something tangible, with a real compromise, with a bill and with a series of spending cuts that is going to help move the country forward, give the free market, give the private sector some type of certainty, and, you know, something that's fiscally responsible. And so we haven't seen that in a while. You know, we need more of that. We need more solutions like that. We need more cuts. You know, as much as they hyped up the sequester, Obama and the Democrats, we need more sequesters. We need more cutbacks. You know, you don't have to chop every program off, but, you know, use a scalpel. But you know, liberals, they have that, liberal progressives, they have that centralized government model that they want to use, and I just don't think it's going to work here. I mean, people, look, you're living in an age of information. Before, people would have to go to Fox News or CNN or C-SPAN or Politico and get their news, National Review. But this is the information age. People are learning to critically think. People are reading history. People are reading the Constitution. You got pocket constitutions flying off of shelves, setting records. People are really engaged, and I'm really optimistic. I think there's a huge paradigm shift that's been understated. I think people are out there waiting for the right voice. They're waiting for freedom. Right now, you have a government that writes its own rules. You have an executive branch that rules by fiat. You have a Congress that abdicate their authority. And then you have federal agencies like the EPA and the IRS and other agencies under this administration, the FCC, that want to write their own rules without congressional approval or authority. And so all of this taking place is stifling our economy, it's stifling creativity. The only few, bright places of hope. There's a few places of hope. You look at North and South Dakota. They have the oil boom going on there. Texas, they have a growing economy. You have companies and employers move from California just to set up in Texas because, the cost of doing business is a lot less. You don't have any state income taxes in Texas. That's one great incentive. Also Florida, that's another state with no state income taxes. You have the reforms in Wisconsin that Governor Scott Walker did, which I thought was ingenious, making it available so people can have the freedom to opt out of unions at the same time, saving the state government money. They had a deficit when he went in, and now they have a 200 and something plus $1 billion surplus. I mean, these reforms in Wisconsin and in North Dakota and North Dakota particularly, they're getting so much revenue from the oil, they're thinking about dropping the income tax. So, these places, these laboratories that we call the states, North and South Dakota, Texas, Florida, I mean, these places, they're doing nothing more than implementing pro-free market reforms that are similar to what Reagan did, which, gave us the greatest economic expansion in the history of the world. 21 million people went to work under Reagan. I mean, his economic record is greatly understated. And I think there's some distortion. Liberals, they want to demonize Reagan and Reaganomics, and it didn't work. Like hell, it didn't work. 21 million people went to work. My mother, who was a staunch Democrat because of mere performance, voted for Reagan the second time around. So, people are ready for change. People want real growth. They want real economic improvement. And I think it's out there. And I think the Republicans, they better get on board. They better get some type of messaging so they can capture some of these people, because people are thirsty for change. Not that Obama change, not that socialist change, but they want real change. They want a real free market. They want growth. They want to be able to put food on the table. They want to be able to put gas in their car. They want to be able to provide for their kids. People want real growth. They want to be able to save and invest their money. And you can't do that with a government that's hell bent on, ruling against the people, giving them heavy taxation and heavy regulations and no representation. You can't do that with an almighty government that's going to attempt to replace the private sector by stealing what they really can't create. The private sector creates, the government takes. And that's really universal. What do governments create? What services that you can get in the government, especially our government, as wasteful as it is, as redundant as it is, as exorbitant as it is, that can perform better than the private sector? It certainly isn't healthcare. I don't even know why. I don't know what gave Obama and the Democrats the moral authority to even take over healthcare when our VA system is in shambles. You have veterans dying on lists, secret lists that aren't even in the database, that are being kept by some clerk with this latest VA scandal. So what does the government can't compete with the private sector. That's been proven time and time again. Look at UPS and Federal Express versus the U.S. Post Office. There's more certainty to when you get your package there, because the private companies, the employees, the executives, and the distribution have an incentive to perform. The government, there's no incentive to perform with the government. Is there? Guaranteed promotion levels? Guaranteed salaries for a certain amount of years? There's no. Where's the incentive to perform the duty to the paying customer? Where's the incentive in government to do that? There is no incentive. And so whatever government can't compete with, typically they take over, like healthcare. Next thing you know, some Democrat in the Senate will want to pass a bill take over UPS or FedEx because it's not fair. I know that's kind of an outrageous example of what's taking place. That's definitely the way I see it. Government can't compete with the private sector. What's the Medicare reimbursement rate compared to some of those private sector insurances out there? It's far below. In some instances, it's less than 40%. So whatever government can't compete with, it's going to take over. And so when you look at this immigration issue, who's going to absorb those costs? We are, the taxpayers. The governing officials, the congressmen, the Congress and the Senate, they don't care. They have their benefits. They have their lifetime salaries. When they retire, they get a job on K Street somewhere, representing some firm, giving them consultant advice or doing some type of lobbyist function. While we're stuck out here paying for the mistakes they made during their tenure. I mean, it's insanity. It's pretty appalling. It's outrageous. So, again, this immigration crisis overwhelming the system. Barack Obama, people that he are directing under his administration, and also Honduras, Mexico, El Salvador. I mean, giving regional passes so citizens can come to Mexico, through Mexico to the United States, so they can drain our resources. They don't care. Those dictators in those countries don't care. The more people they can ship here, the more money that the people that work can send there, strengthening their economies, and they don't have to fix their economic problems there. There's no incentive there, and we give these countries aid. I say we cut them off. And then you have, and I'm glad conservatives are getting involved. You got conservative organizations at the border feeding kids, giving them medicine. That's great. Let's send them home, though. And then you got Nancy Pelosi out there using the Bible to basically write off this crap as some type of humanitarian, trying to biblically connect this immigration issue. It's funny when liberals are trying to pass a policy, they always want to use the Bible, put that guilt trip out there, but they never take that Bible to the immigration table. Huh? Right? Am I right or am I wrong? They never take that Bible when it comes to making able-bodied people work. They want to extend welfare. They want to extend unemployment, so people can basically sit home, depend on government, and they get some happy voters. That's what this immigration thing is all about. 15 to 30 million people that are already here that can't vote. You give them blanket amnesty. They rush to the polls, turn the entire country blue for possibly 40 to 50 years. I mean, that would just destroy the country. Can you imagine Democrat rule, upper house, lower house, White House, 30 plus years? I mean, this place would be upside down. Literally. So that's what's at stake here, folks. Our livelihood, our future, our posterity, when it comes to this issue. And, I wish we had a Republican Party that was engaged, that, will willingly adopt the grassroots movement that is composed of, evangelicals, constitutional conservatives, some libertarians, freedom-loving people that don't want to be robbed by their government, people that don't want to, the heel of the government on their necks, and people that want to see the country prosper and grow. I mean, that's what we want here. That's what we're fighting for here. Whether you're Tea Party or Libertarian, Freedom Works, evangelicals, we want massive, we want growth. And we're used to growth. Economy's contracting under Obama. Every year, contracting. People are hungry. They want change. People are out there on the internet educating themselves, like I said earlier. There's a paradigm shift, and I don't think Washington and New York sees it, but I think in the next couple of election cycles and thereafter, it's going to be a reality. Smack dead in their face. People are tired of being bullied by their government. So that's really all I wanted to do on immigration. We're going to